My mom is a white tiger. My dad is also a white tiger. But I am just a little tiger. My dad went crazy with rage. He hung my mom up and whipped her for 3 days. Then he beat the nearby gorilla for 7 days. But he still couldn't figure out my lineage. My dad left home, leaving me, my mom, and tiger brother. But in my eyes, this tiger brother is a bit stupid. On the day I turned 1 month old, tiger mom went out to hunt, leaving me and tiger brother in the cave. The playful tiger brother crawled out of the cave. An adult blind bear happened to pass by, both being predators. He naturally wouldn't let a rival's cub go. The bear roared and charged toward my brother. My brother was scared senseless, standing still, unable to move. At the critical moment, I rushed out and dragged my brother back into the cave. Finally, tiger mom returned just in time, and we both barely escaped with our lives. If I weren't a tiger on the outside, but a human in soul, I might have died long ago in this forest full of danger. This made me desperately want the power to protect myself. At mealtime, tiger mom lay down before us, opening her belly. At first, I was resistant, but when the warm milk flowed into my mouth, a warm current spread through my whole body. I felt like I could do it again. So when it came to eating, I was much more proactive than that naughty brother behind me. After a few months of growth, I found that I was different from other tigers. First, I was special, always feeling like I could never get full. Secondly, my size. I grew much faster than my brother born. Meanwhile, at 5 months, I weighed 40 kilograms, while my brother was only over 20 kilograms. This was when we started eating meat. The first time I ate bloody wild boar meat, an even larger warm current appeared in my stomach, then surged through my entire body. It seemed that eating meat could increase my strength. A month later, we were half a year old. Tiger mom began teaching us hunting techniques. Suddenly, tiger mom's gaze turned cold, as if she had spotted prey. A herd of sika deer appeared ahead, grazing. Every few minutes, a deer would look up to observe the surroundings. I lay flat quietly, watching tiger mom while learning from her experience. The 3 of us tigers were moving downwind. The sika deer couldn't smell us. Tiger mom looked back, signaling me and my brother to stay put. She used the terrain to crawl closer to the herd. In a few minutes, she reached within 100 meters of the herd. The moment the herd let down its guard, tiger mom lunged out like a bolt of lightning, with powerful explosive force. She caught up and knocked down a buck with one paw. She quickly found the right spot to deliver the killing blow. The entire hunting process took less than 30 seconds. Tiger mom dragged the buck in front of us, licked the blood from her mouth, then stepped back and lay down. This was to let me and my brother eat first. My brother wasn't used to the smell of blood, and still wanted to quietly look for milk. He was sternly swiped away by tiger mom. My brother walked away whimpering, his face full of grievance. I had already started feasting. Even after finishing my share, I still felt hungry. I plucked up my courage and walked toward the remaining meat. Tiger mom just gave a low growl and turned her head away. Having received tacit permission, I ate the entire lower half of the buck. Simultaneously, an even larger warm current rose from my abdomen. I don't know what this warm current is, but every time it flows through my body, I feel full of energy. For the next few days, tiger mom played and wrestled with us in the clearing before the cave. Through this method, she trained our hunting and self-defense skills. Life went on like this, both leisurely and disciplined, until one day, the 3 of us returned from hunting, and heard a deep and terrifying tiger roar, echoing through the forest. It was a strange male tiger. Tiger mom became tense, jumping to a high vantage point to look, while scouting the surrounding situation. Meanwhile, my brother stayed where he was, shaking with fear. Since the strange male tiger appeared, I couldn't sleep well for a whole night, feeling a huge external threat for the first time. For our safety, tiger mom began patrolling the territory for hundreds of kilometers. This was a very dangerous signal. For several days, tiger mom wouldn't let us follow her out. After several days of patrolling, no more traces of the strange male tiger were found. Only then did tiger mom relax, and took us out hunting again. Until one day, something unusual happened. During the hunt, encountered a male bear weighing over 300 kilograms. But it had been eaten, leaving only the skull and skeleton. Beside the carcass were clear, giant tiger paw prints. This confirmed the strength of that strange male tiger. Mother tiger nervously stepped forward to check. Even if he wanted to kill this large male bear, he would have had to pay the price with severe injuries. But there were no signs of injury from that strange tiger around. My heart sank. If we, mother and cubs, encountered him, we certainly wouldn't survive. For safety, Mother Tiger had no choice but to take us toward an unfamiliar mountain forest. Perhaps pressured by that male tiger's presence, Mother Tiger urged us to keep moving. But the more you fear something, the more likely it is to happen. A loud tiger roar echoed through the forest. Mother Tiger didn't dare delay. Her heart was weighed down by immense pressure. She knew something had caught up with us. Likely that male tiger who hadn't shown himself yet. All we could do now was try to widen the distance. We sprinted like this for 2 hours. Just as we burst out of a dense thicket into an open area, Mother Tiger reacted first, leaping 2 or 3 meters, blocking the way in front of us, while letting out an extremely fierce roar, 200 or 300 meters ahead. A majestic, giant male tiger was already waiting there. Judging by his size and coat color, he had just reached adulthood, and was in his prime. His weight was conservatively over 270 kilograms, although Mother Tiger was larger than average female tigers. But in front of a male tiger of this size, she couldn't protect the 2 cubs at all. Mother Tiger had to do something. Mother Tiger gave a probing low growl, to see if she could scare the opponent away. But the male tiger opposite didn't retreat. Instead, he calmly approached Mother Tiger. He seemed to want to communicate with her first. 1 female and 1 male. 2 adult tigers stood in a standoff like this. The atmosphere was tense to the extreme. I hid in the thicket, keeping a close eye on the situation, thinking about how to break the deadlock. The next second, the male tiger lunged at Mother Tiger. Mother Tiger showed no fear, meeting him head-on. After fighting for a moment, Mother Tiger was caught by the male tiger's opportunity. His massive explosive power made her instantly lose balance and fall to the ground. If he moved just a bit more, the male tiger's sharp fangs would snap her neck. Just as I prepared to lead my brother in a final escape, in the nearby forest, a roar full of rage echoed. That was the call of another male tiger. But to Mother Tiger, it was incredibly precious now. Along with the sound of rapid galloping, a Siberian tiger of staggering size appeared. He was shrouded in a menacing aura, stronger and more domineering than the one who defeated Mother Tiger. An uncontrollable killing intent surged through him. It was Father Tiger. Father Tiger was furious, facing the culprit who harmed his wife and children. How could he possibly endure this? The next moment, Father Tiger narrowed his eyes. His massive body exerted force, lunging at the strange male tiger like a bolt of lightning. Watching the 2 beasts fight for their lives, I finally realized how terrifying adult male tigers are. They traded blows. Both sides suffered injuries, but Father Tiger gradually gained the upper hand with his weight and experience. One of the strange male tiger's eyes was clawed blind by Father Tiger. Just as they were about to fight again, that blind-eyed tiger turned around, lunging violently toward Mother Tiger and me, swiping me aside with a paw, then fleeing for his life. I felt like my whole body was splitting apart. No one expected him to run away. On the other side, Father Tiger ran over with heavy steps. He glanced at me. A flicker of tenderness and guilt passed through his eyes. If only he could have killed that guy outright. His children wouldn't have suffered. This battle also left Father Tiger with some injuries. Fortunately, he'd be fine after resting and eating for a few days. I don't know how much time passed. I woke up from unconsciousness, feeling my whole body wrapped in a warm current. My injuries were recovering quickly, but by comparison, Mother Tiger's condition was more severe. For animals, severe injuries seem to be a matter of fate. Mother Tiger also realized she was fading. I tried to mobilize the mysterious energy within me for her, but found I couldn't control it at all. Looking up at the surrounding forest, I thought of a way. Perhaps I could find some herbal medicine to treat internal injuries. Most medicines humans can use, animals can use as well. It was now early summer, with plenty of rain. Many herbs were budding and growing. It would be great if I could find some aged wild ginseng. The flora and fauna in Father Tiger's territory were quite rich. In a short while, I found 2 small ginseng roots. After Mother Tiger ate the ginseng, her injuries indeed improved. So Tiger Dad started taking me and my brother out to hunt. After half a month of training, I not only became stronger and sturdier, but my speed and sense of smell also improved. I could even smell everything within 30 kilometers. Finally, I began my first solo hunt. Following the experience Tiger Dad taught me, I picked the best hunting spot. 10 kilometers away from the cave, I found a slightly elevated small hill. The view here was wide open. The weeds were tall and thick, making it hard to be spotted. I lay in the grass, waiting. Wave after wave of small animals came and went by the stream. Finally, a group of wild boars arrived. I made up my mind. Wild boars have strong reproductive abilities. Except for the adult boars, I could handle the others. There were 3 adult boars in this group. The first thing to do was to lure them away. While the boar herd let their guard down to drink, I leaped out from the grass. A few adult boars reacted the fastest, and started running with the piglets. I had already predicted their escape route. My body leaped from the grass, pouncing directly on the scattering piglets. He tried to make a sharp turn and play tricks. But having watched Animal World, how could I be fooled? The moment he turned, I bit down, catching the piglet crashing into me. The smell of blood instantly spread in my mouth. Tossing the dead prey aside, I went to chase the others. The harvest was not small. During the process of pouncing and killing, I could feel changes in my muscles and bones. Not only did they become tougher, but my speed also increased. My reactions were several times faster than other animals. These changes likely came from the mysterious energy in my body. If I could keep using this energy to strengthen, once I truly grow up, my strength and speed would be unimaginable. Just as I was carrying a piglet back, a strange scent came from the grass ahead, and there were quite a few of them. Then, several gray wolves leaped out. The leading wolf king was slightly smaller than me, but they were many, and they had some wolf cubs with them. Why did the gray wolves move their whole family to tiger territory? I was a bit puzzled, but I wasn't afraid. The leading gray wolf king howled at the sky first as a warning. I didn't want to pay them any mind, but this is Tiger Dad's territory. They barged in with their whole family. As the little master, I have a duty to help my father teach these intruders a lesson. Immediately, a deep tiger roar thundered toward the wolf pack. The alpha wolf was instinctively a bit afraid, but seeing that I was still a juvenile, and staring at the prey in my mouth, the fear vanished instantly. Baring its canines, looking ready to fight to the death, I wasn't going to indulge them. I put the 2 prey on the ground, holding them down with one paw. Then, under the fierce gaze of the wolf pack, I began to tear and swallow. I could finish the 2 piglets in a few bites, but I chose to tear them slowly in front of them. The provocation was at its peak. The alpha wolf was clearly panicked. If he didn't do something, his subordinates might turn against him. He gave the command. The other gray wolves no longer hesitated. A few female wolves protected the cubs and hid in the distance. The remaining wolves spread out, surrounding me in the middle. The battle between tiger and wolf was about to erupt. My tiger eyes narrowed. I charged straight at the alpha wolf. The wolves didn't expect me to strike first. By the time they reacted, the alpha wolf had already been swiped away by my paw. The wolves behind chased after me, biting at my hindquarters. A few wounds appeared on my body, instantly triggering my beastly instincts. I grabbed a gray wolf attacking me, and bit down hard on its neck. With a crack, I snapped its neck directly. I felt a powerful force erupting within me. My damage output instantly jumped a level. The wolf pack grew terrified. They had never seen such a ferocious tiger cub. They scattered and fled. I returned to the cave, tossing the gray wolf carcass from my mouth onto the ground, letting out a growling laugh toward Tiger Dad and Mom, telling them about the encounter. Upon hearing this, Tiger Dad leaped out immediately. As the master of the territory, he couldn't tolerate his child being bullied. Looking at Tiger Dad's departing back, I felt a warmth in my heart. My brother couldn't understand either. Both being tiger cubs, why are you so exceptional? About an hour later, Tiger Dad returned, bringing back the carcasses of several wolf kings. With Tiger Dad here for now, we have plenty of food and shelter. But these good days won't last long. Siberian tigers are solitary hunters, and apex predators. Even the mother who raised us will, once we reach adulthood, drive us away without hesitation. In the evening, Tiger Dad and Mom gradually fell asleep. I quietly slipped out of the cave. A moment later, Tiger Brother followed. As we walked, we reached an open grassy area. Suddenly, a strange cry rang out. Ahead, a lynx was catching a snowshoe hare. Normally, in a tiger's territory, there shouldn't be predators like lynxes or gray wolves, but encountering them repeatedly within a few days. Could something have changed in the forest? Perhaps. It's time to remind Tiger Dad to patrol the territory. Returning to the cave, Tiger Dad examined the tufts of fur I brought back, and was furious. He shook off his laziness. He became full of dominance, and rushed to patrol the territory. After thinking for a moment, I followed. Tiger Brother, already a bit tired, also forced himself to keep up. Tiger Dad's territory is vast. It takes 10 to 15 days to finish a patrol. Watching Tiger Dad with his leisurely stride, walking calmly through the jungle, showed me what true kingly aura is. Tiger Dad marked the thick tree trunks with urine, marking the territory, while warning intruders that this land is claimed. Following the edge of the territory until afternoon, Tiger Dad grew a bit tired, just as he found a shaded spot to lie down and rest. A powerful roar echoed from ahead. Tiger Dad gazed deeply forward, as if sensing something, and stood up. The next moment, a medium-sized, spotted leopard appeared. 6 tiger eyes stared at one leopard. The leopard opposite was clearly panicked, turning around to give a short alarm call. The atmosphere was exceptionally tense. Leopards are usually social. Soon, 5 more arrived. They seemed to think their numbers were enough to frighten Tiger Dad, but they underestimated Tiger Dad's determination to defend his territory. They also made a fatal mistake. Never attempt to provoke a father with cubs, even if it was for the sake of his image before his children. Tiger Dad would never back down. With a tiger's roar, he charged straight at the 5 leopards. Tiger Dad didn't attack immediately, because my brother and I were his weakness. The leopards opposite seemed to notice this, and their flagging morale rose again. I finally understood what "a newborn calf doesn't fear the tiger" means. Tiger Dad didn't strike first, making the leopards mistakenly think the tiger wasn't that powerful. I saw it clearly too. Tiger Dad could handle 5 of them easily. His hesitation was only because he was worried about us. I let out a roar to the sky, with a solemn expression, shielding my brother by my side. This change startled the 5 leopards. They didn't expect the cub to be so fierce. Tiger Dad seemed to understand my intention. The next moment, he pounced on the 5 leopards like a bolt. Tiger Dad disregarded everything, and began biting and tearing the nearest leopard, entering a state of combat. That sense of pressure left even me trembling. The 5 leopards were utterly terrified. In just one clash, Tiger Dad swiped one away, and bit into another's hind leg. The others were too scared to stay, and fled, snarling. Tiger Dad hesitated for a moment, and did not chase them. He walked over and rubbed against my fur, and licked my brother's forehead. It was clear that Tiger Dad was very satisfied with my performance. After all, a tiger father has no cowardly sons. My behavior just now made him very proud. Then, Tiger Dad carried the leopard's carcass in his mouth, and ran wildly toward the edge of the territory, marking it with his urine. This was the most effective deterrent for intruders. After 10+ minutes, Tiger Dad returned with a powerful stride, with several more prey with broken necks in his mouth. Time to enjoy the spoils of war. Tiger Dad picked a fat one to start eating. I took my brother and picked a smaller moose. Under the afterglow of the setting sun, the silhouettes of the 3 tigers were stretched long, as if foreshadowing that a powerful and young Siberian tiger family is on the rise. Today's encounter with the 5 young leopards made me better understand the law of the jungle. The strong rule the weak. Being able to live a carefree life now is all thanks to Tiger Dad's protection. But one day I'll have to leave. I must quickly increase my strength. Another night passed. Tiger Dad took us to continue patrolling the territory. Along the way, the boundary line wasn't damaged too severely, but a rough count showed over 20 signs of intrusion at the edge of the territory. This number made me a bit worried. Something must have happened in the neighboring territory that forced those creatures to migrate. Going further forward is the direction of Tiger Dad's cave. After days out, I felt like a wanderer longing for home. Returning to the tiger cave, Tiger Dad carried a sick deer he caught on the way, and walked up to Tiger Mom, dropping it with a bit of a flattering gesture. I also understood. Once Tiger Dad confirmed the territory was safe, Tiger Mom would also take us away, back to our own home. But leaving Tiger Dad, relying only on Tiger Mom to feed me and my brother, might make even getting full a problem. It's time to hone my hunting skills on my own. As a fishing enthusiast in my previous life, I know well the importance of chumming. Wild boars are the most common in this territory. To deal with these fleshy, numerous, and not so smart creatures, chumming is the simplest and most effective way. I dug up 10 to 15 kilograms of root vegetables and piled them in one spot, then crouched in the jungle, waiting quietly. Human in the previous life, tiger in this life, knowing how to use wisdom. That's what makes a fearsome Siberian tiger. Soon, a group of wild boars led by a boar approached the bait timidly. They didn't stand on ceremony, and started eating greedily. I locked onto a target, and approached quickly, crawling. When I was close enough, I leaped from my ambush. Ignoring the adult boars, I chased hard. One that weighed only 25 to 30 kilograms. This boar knew it couldn't outrun me, and started using feints. The first fake out caught me off guard. I almost lost my balance. By the time I adjusted and accelerated again, it had already escaped a certain distance. According to Siberian tiger habits, this kind of prey should be abandoned. But I have mysterious energy supporting me, so I didn't care about the stamina consumption. With a roar, I accelerated and chased it again. I chased it for several kilometers before taking it down. When I returned to the tiger cave, Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom were already asleep. The next day, Tiger Mom took us away. Tiger Dad stayed in the cave and didn't come out to see us off. To him, this was probably just a small fragment of a long tiger's life. But as soon as we entered Tiger Mom's territory, something happened. There was a row of messy prints from our own kind on the ground. It was a tigress with 3 cubs. Tiger Mom strolled through the mountains and forests, letting out bursts of roars, radiating murderous intent. Her eyes tolerated nothing else. She only wanted to find the intruder. Although both were tigresses raising cubs, Tiger Mom had no heart of mercy. About 10 kilometers from the cave, the tracks of that tigress were found again, along with the carcass of an adult stag. Tiger Mom was furious. It's like a stranger breaking into your home, not only trashing the place, but also leaving a pile of smelly garbage. She roared angrily as she walked, like a middle-aged woman shouting in the street. The sky gradually darkened. Tiger Mom stopped calling. She found a high vantage point, and quietly observed the surroundings. She pricked up her ears to listen. Her gaze froze, and she walked in one direction. Suddenly, I seemed to hear a faint tiger roar. In the forest 200 or 300 meters ahead, a slightly thin tigress was staring at us. The gazes of the 2 tigresses instantly met. Tiger Mom let out a series of roars. The tigress opposite was not to be outdone. When 2 tigers meet, there's nothing to say. They just go at it. Just like 2 ordinary house cats fighting, swiping and scratching at each other, and biting each other while rolling on the ground. Though the scene wasn't as majestic as male tigers fighting, it was equally bloody and cruel. Before long, both tigresses were injured. The intruder was clearly at a disadvantage. Compared to Tiger Mom's physique, she was far inferior. Even fighting with all her might, she couldn't reverse the defeat. Tiger Mom swiped her and knocked her to the ground, and bit down hard with her jaws. Seeing their mother defeated, the 3 cubs hiding behind couldn't help but run out. They crowded around their mother, letting out feeble tiger roars, trying their best to look fierce, hoping this would intimidate Tiger Mom. Perhaps shocked by the cubs' behavior, Tiger Mom, who had the upper hand, stopped attacking. All living beings have feelings, especially fellow mothers. After a while, the tigress lying on the ground regained some strength. Struggling to push herself up and stand, Tiger Mom thought she wasn't giving up. Her gaze became sharp again, preparing to attack once more. But the intruder seemed to know the cost of resisting. Under Tiger Mom's gaze, she lay down. Tiger Mom's expression relaxed. Since the opponent had cast aside her royal dignity, she wouldn't kill her and her cubs, but expelling them from her territory was a certainty. Mom watched with her own eyes as the other left the territory. Only then did she relax. Today's scene made Tiger Mom extremely vigilant. This invading tigress, either her territory was taken in a fight, or something happened to the male tiger. It would be hard for her alone to raise 3 cubs. Even if Tiger Mom showed mercy, they wouldn't last many more days. From then on, besides accompanying Tiger Mom on patrols, I spent my days waiting for her to bring food. As long as I survive this winter, by next year, I can be considered a real tiger. Every night, I would sneak out to exercise, following a night and morning run plan from my previous life. Also climbing trees more often, training my limb muscles and explosive power. When I encountered wild ginseng along the way, I'd treat it as a lesson without hesitation. Of course, I often dragged Tiger Brother along during my workouts. And just then, at the edge of Tiger Mom's territory, a strong tiger silhouette slowly stepped forward. It was Tiger Dad, crossing over from his own territory, coming to visit me and Tiger Brother. Just as Tiger Dad rubbed against my fur to show affection, I discovered to my surprise, a scar left on his chest and ribs. This must have been left by another male tiger. Later, Tiger Dad explained the situation. The resident tiger adjacent to his territory was killed by another adult male tiger, who then took over the territory. That's why so many creatures were fleeing in panic before. I guess that invading tigress from before might have lost her male tiger and territory, which is why she came to Tiger Mom for food. Tiger Dad seemed to have already fought with the newcomer. Having reached an agreement, he rushed over, clearly worried that guy would come looking for trouble. After all, no matter how strong Tiger Mom is, she can't beat a male tiger. Tiger Dad took us to patrol Tiger Mom's territory. He gave Tiger Mom many instructions. For example, when he is away, if she encounters that newcomer, she must escape in time. Arriving at the edge of Tiger Mom's territory, Tiger Dad inspected along the border. He didn't see that powerful opponent. But after crossing a slope, he soon discovered something abnormal, a nearly rotting carcass of a Siberian tiger cub. It seemed to be the cub of the invading tigress, even as powerful as the Siberian tiger. There are times of weakness and helplessness. One cub died. The tigress and her remaining cubs likely fared poorly. Tiger Dad endured the stench and searched nearby. At that moment, an equally majestic silhouette appeared in the forest 2 kilometers away. Just staring at Tiger Dad like that, Tiger Dad let out a warning roar into the distance. That male tiger had a long scar on his face, stretching from his forehead down to his nose. Tiger Dad seemed to be the one who fought him before. Although he didn't win, he didn't lose either. The territory tiger opposite looked at our family. He turned and entered the forest with a cold expression, in a manner of, live and let live. After finishing the border patrol, on the way back, the atmosphere was somewhat gloomy, perhaps due to the pressure from the neighboring territory tiger. Tiger Dad also began to ponder. It turned out the one in that territory was an aging tiger, who wouldn't easily conflict with the young Tiger Dad. But now the owner has changed. The pressure on Tiger Mom's side has increased. Tiger Dad had no better solution. After all, they hadn't come directly to provoke them, so there was no reason to attack. However, just as we were about to return to the cave, I clearly heard the sound of grass being stepped on in the distance. I glanced at Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom. They didn't seem to hear it. I instantly had an idea. Recently I felt I had become much stronger. Just the right time to verify it, and bring Tiger Brother along. Anyway, we were almost home. There was no danger. Following that faint sound, I led Tiger Brother to sneak over. When we got close enough, I pushed off hard with both legs, pounced toward the bushes. I felt furry prey under me. It was quite large. Looking down, I was stunned. It was a skin and bones tiger cub, the same one that had followed its mother into our territory a few days ago. I wonder how it found its way back. Tiger Brother didn't think that much. In his eyes, this little tiger was an intruder. He wanted to do as Tiger Mom did, bite through its neck. I quickly stepped in and stopped him. A peculiar idea occurred to me. I led my brother backward, until we vanished from the cub's sight. A few hundred meters behind the cub, inside a rocky cave, there was another equally frail white tiger cub. Lying beside them was their deceased mother. In less than 2 weeks, the family of the former kings of beasts had fallen to such a state. Glancing at the surrounding jungle, I made a bold decision. I would support these 2 intruder cubs. After all, though I have a tiger's body, my soul is fundamentally human. As for whether they survive in the end, or if they'll be killed if Tiger Mom finds them, I'll leave that to fate. My brother was terrified by my actions. He didn't know what to do, whether to tell our parents or not. After I returned to the cave, my brother didn't tattle. Instead, he found a quiet spot to brood. He really couldn't understand why his brother would help intruders. At dawn, Tiger Dad prepared to leave. He had his own territory to guard. In the days that followed, I practiced relentlessly every day. Gradually, I could even successfully hunt some larger animals on my own. Combined with the mysterious energy within me, and occasionally chewing on some wild ginseng, my body has begun to grow powerful. In terms of hunting and survival, I feel there is still much for me to learn. I have human wisdom and a human way of thinking, and the superb physique of a Siberian tiger. If I combine the two, then, a Siberian tiger possessing human wisdom, and being strong and ferocious, should be able to stand at the top of this forest. During this time, the food Tiger Mom gave me, including what I caught myself, whenever I had the chance, I'd secretly give it to those 2 cubs. But what gave me a headache was, hunting skills are passed from parent to child. These 2 cubs would have to learn eventually. It seems this task will fall to me as well. Eating, training, hunting, and feeding 2 orphans. These things occupied my daily life. After a period of training and practical experience, my aura underwent a drastic change. My size looked almost the same as Tiger Mom's, and it was precisely because of this that I found my treatment getting worse. Not only was the food Tiger Mom brought back divided to me becoming less and less, but I was also occasionally scolded during hunts. Sometimes she would let out a few warning roars. The meaning was clear. I understood in my heart. Tiger Mom already saw me as a grown child. After all, territorial awareness increases as tigers grow. Coupled with my sharply increased appetite lately, Tiger Mom felt threatened. Although I am not yet of an age to leave my mother and live independently, but I already had a tendency to compete with her for territory and resources. This is why Tiger Mom's attitude toward me worsened. Perhaps after this winter, I will be ruthlessly driven away by her. This is the natural rule the Siberian tiger has followed for millions of years to maintain survival. Even if I hunt in Tiger Dad's territory, I must first get his approval. Otherwise, I'm just an intruder. Even if I'm his own son, Tiger Dad would show no mercy. Calculating the days, it's almost time. When Tiger Dad comes to visit us, I plan to discuss this issue with him this time. After all, small prey in Tiger Mom's territory is already scarce. So, whenever I went out hunting alone afterward, I sensibly went to a place 30 kilometers away from the cave. I didn't expect danger to follow. As I dragged a moose carcass back, the scent of blood scattered by the wind, a giant bear caught the scent and pursued me. As luck would have it, it was the one Tiger Dad had taught a lesson to. This thing is not something I can mess with now. But looking at the prey I had just caught, to give it up just like that, I really couldn't bear to. Seeing the black bear getting closer and closer, in a panic, I let go of the prey, and let out a roar toward the direction of the bear. Perhaps fearing my tiger roar, combined with my size, close to that of an adult tiger, it made the black bear stop in its tracks. But I made a big mistake. After intimidating the black bear, I picked up my prey and continued walking. This, in turn, piqued the bear's curiosity. After all, what kind of tiger fears a black bear, and gives up food on its own territory? Seeing this, the black bear judged that the Siberian tiger before it was somewhat fearful, likely just having reached adulthood. Faced with such a massive piece of meat, the black bear eventually gave chase. I looked back, and was stunned. The black bear, which had been hesitant, stood up, and let out a roar to provoke me. This was blatant provocation. I let go of the prey, and roared back without hesitation. This was about the dignity of a future king. But by doing so, it further convinced the black bear that I was just an inexperienced young adult tiger. In its eyes, this was a golden opportunity. I was not afraid in the least. The muscles across my body instantly exploded with power, as I lunged to bite the black bear. Although I bit the bear's flank, I also took a blow from its paw. However, I wasn't seriously injured, but the pain further stimulated the black bear's nerves, fully unleashing its fighting instinct. I kept dodging, while utilizing my advantages, to inflict as much damage as possible on the bear. But this dark-furred fellow had far too much defense. Next, ignoring my injuries, I attacked, trading wounds for wounds. The mysterious energy within me also began to stir. I grew braver as I fought, fighting the black bear, until it became intimidated. It took the opportunity of our separation to bolt away. For the first time, I won through my own strength, and the opponent was an adult black bear. This achievement is enough to look down upon any other Siberian tiger of the same age. It took more than 2 hours before I could drag the prey to a flat area. As I replenished my energy with food, I felt the energy within me grow much stronger. Carrying the remaining food in my mouth, I headed toward the 2 orphan tigers. Ever since the tiger mother showed increasing distance toward me, I began to pay extra attention to feeding the 2 orphan tigers. After feeding them for a month or two, these 2 orphan tigers no longer felt hostility toward me and Tiger Brother. After all, Siberian tigers are sentient beings. If I can win them over, and train them into loyal subordinates, then it's very likely that under my leadership, the strongest king in the history of Siberian tigers will emerge. A team facing 4 adult tigers. No matter how powerful you are, you'd meet your end upon encountering them. Dragging the food to the cave where the 2 orphans lived. This time, I put down the food, and didn't leave immediately, intending to test them. If they were still hostile toward me, I might not keep them around. I intentionally came with external injuries, so that even if they tried to attack now, I could easily handle them. When the 2 cubs saw the food at the cave entrance, and me, injured, not far away, they bypassed the food entirely, and came straight to me, letting out anxious roars. One of them even kept licking the wounds on my body. Feeling the actions of these 2 little ones, I knew I hadn't raised wild tigers. Then I pretended to use all my strength to push them toward the food. These 2 simple, foolish tigers had no idea how cruel the world can be. Seeing that I was so heavily injured yet still thinking of them, they lowered their heads and rubbed against me. They were simply too precious. Having gained their affection and trust, and as long as food is guaranteed to raise them, my idea of building the strongest Siberian tiger squad would have a chance of becoming a reality. I pushed them toward the food time and again, before the two little ones finally started eating the prey. To tell them apart, I named them Tiger 1 and Tiger 2. Now, fighting for my life, I could only wound a black bear, and couldn't kill it like an adult tiger would. This also meant that while I still can't provoke large predators, when encountering medium hunters like leopards, I can now face them head-on. Just then, Tiger Brother ran over with a piece of meat. The way Tiger 1 and Tiger 2 looked at Tiger Brother, although not exactly hostile, wasn't exactly friendly either. I decided to let the little ones train together, building team bonds, to avoid internal strife later, calling the three little ones, coming to a hidden canyon in the mountains, starting their first formal training. Until dusk, they stopped only when they collapsed from exhaustion. Although during this time, I no longer ate the food provided by Tiger Mom, but every now and then, I'd return to the area around the cave to observe Tiger Mom's movements, to prevent her from finding the hiding place of Tiger 1 and 2. Meanwhile, when Tiger Mom went hunting, I secretly followed and learned from her. As the weather gradually turned cold, the animals that could be caught became fewer and fewer. There was even one time, Tiger Mom and I targeted the same prey. In the end, I was the one to back down. After all, Tiger Mom is the queen of this territory. After thinking it over, I decided to risk entering Tiger Dad's territory to hunt. Before leaving, I told Tiger Brother to protect Tiger 1 and 2 well. Otherwise, given the nature of Siberian tigers, if Tiger Mom knew of their existence, she would definitely kill them without hesitation. I ran intermittently for half a month on the way, finally arriving at Tiger Dad's territory. Just as I suspected, Tiger Dad's territory was rich in resources. Wild boars and herbivores like sika deer were frequently seen. It took over 2 hours, until I finally staked out a herd of wild boars. No special techniques, only an explosion of strength. Now, my explosive power could completely crush any wild boar. Of 2 wild boars, I ate one, intentionally leaving one behind, as a gift for Tiger Dad from an intruder. The sky grew dark. The sky dimmed. I entered the area of Tiger Dad's cave. Before I got close, I felt something unusual in the surrounding grass. It was too quiet. Towards the valley ahead, I let out a loud tiger roar. Shortly after, Tiger Dad, hidden in the grass, slowly revealed himself. I thought if I had rushed in blindly, I would probably have been beaten severely. After all, I am also a tiger now. I have already become a certain threat to Tiger Dad. Perhaps smelling a familiar scent made Tiger Dad a bit confused. A cub not seen for a month or two, now grown to nearly the size of an adult tiger. Any father would be bewildered. I clearly saw the vigilance in Tiger Dad's eyes. I couldn't help but sigh. Then I slowly lowered my head and backed away, leaving behind the wild boar I brought. While showing I had no other intentions, Tiger Dad stepped forward, sniffed the prey I brought, somewhat hesitant. His eyes scanned back and forth between the prey and me. I waited quietly, not in a hurry. After all, the act of a son killing his father to take the territory is not uncommon among Siberian tigers. After a standoff for nearly an hour, Tiger Dad finally made a decision. He took a step forward, rubbed against my fur, then let out a low growl, then turned and left with the wild boar I brought. Although Tiger Dad's attitude towards me was no longer as intimate as before, he allowed me to hunt temporarily in his territory. Tiger Dad's reaction was both expected and unexpected. I thought I would be ruthlessly expelled or given a lesson, but Tiger Dad left some room for leniency. Perhaps this compromise also contained Tiger Dad's final fatherly love for me. But I understand that making myself strong is absolutely the right thing to do. Even if I am distanced from my parents, I will never regret it. Walking with faltering steps on Tiger Dad's territory. Now, I felt lonely. Perhaps every Siberian tiger has gone through such a moment. Without the support of parents, my world will be even wider. Having received Tiger Dad's permission, this way, when winter arrives, I can ensure I won't starve to death. Goal achieved. I plan to go back. After walking a distance forward, in the open area ahead, appeared the carcass of a leopard. A strong sense of unease drove me to turn around immediately, and sprint away in the opposite direction. Although I am not superstitious, I still followed my instinct, soon crossing this overlap zone, entering Tiger Mom's territorial range. Just when I relaxed, a chill from behind instantly shot to my head. A male tiger was staring at me coldly now. My body trembled instinctively, but I forced it to stop. That blind tiger had been tracking my footprints from behind. Fear washed over me. If I had been a bit slower just now, I might already be dead. Facing the blind tiger's death-like indifference, I did not shrink back. Standing opposite him, I responded with the same gaze, silently remembering this danger. When I reach adulthood, I will definitely avenge today. But my heart, which had just calmed down, felt a surge of unease again. Then, an angry tiger's roar echoed through the forest, coming from where Huda and Huer were hidden. Oh no! I was startled. Then, at the fastest speed, I sprinted toward the cave. Now, the ground in front of the cave trembled. Standing in front of Mother Tiger was Hudi, with all his fur standing on end. No matter how Mother Tiger roared, Hudi still stood his ground and wouldn't move. This little guy remembered my instructions before I left, and let out a roar at Mother Tiger for the first time. Mother Tiger was stunned by this not-so-loud roar. She couldn't believe the cub she raised would be like this. In her eyes, this was simply a disgrace. So, facing the son who repeatedly blocked her, Mother Tiger grew furious. She raised her powerful paw and swiped Hudi 10 meters away. Mother Tiger approached Huda and Huer step by step. At the critical moment, I arrived just in time, and stood opposite Mother Tiger. I let out a roar as a warning. Unless absolutely necessary, I didn't want to fight my own mother. But Mother Tiger completely ignored my warning, and bit down on my shoulder. Facing Mother Tiger's attack, I did not resist. Perhaps stimulated by the scent of blood, Mother Tiger's originally furious expression gradually softened. After all, tigers do not eat their own cubs. She still cherished the last remnants of kinship. She just couldn't understand why her own son would help the offspring of an intruder. Mother Tiger's expression shifted constantly. Finally, she seemed to make a decision, letting out a loud roar as a final farewell. Then she walked away without looking back. Hudi realized something, and ran after her, but was kicked away by Mother Tiger again. Watching this scene, I felt a bit lost in my heart. My two brothers were ruthlessly exiled by their mother. Although I imagined one day we would be exiled, I didn't expect it to happen so soon. For the sake of future plans, I had to protect Huda and Huer. As long as we survive this winter smoothly, I will be the absolute king of this forest in the future. We can no longer stay in this place. I must find a safe place to settle as soon as possible. It must be close to my parents' territory, yet avoid that blind tiger. After 2 hours, I took the three little ones to a temporary shelter. This place is near a water source, and has a natural stone cave. Perhaps they haven't adapted yet. Hudi's eyes are still filled with confusion, but I did not step forward to comfort him. Every Siberian tiger has its own path to walk, but I want Hudi to have a different kind of tiger life. Now there are 3 cubs to raise. I must ensure I catch prey with enough weight. Additionally, teaching the 3 cubs hunting skills also fell upon me. After resting for a while, I set out with the 3 cubs. However, just as I reached the edge of Mother Tiger's territory, a sudden commotion echoed through the forest, urging the 3 little ones to hide in the grass. Soon, a pack of migrating gray wolves appeared. There were over 20 of them, big and small. Although their size wasn't great, their numbers were large. I didn't know where this pack of wolves was heading. For the safety of the 3 little ones, I chose to wait. But plans cannot keep up with changes. 2 or 3 gray wolves were unconsciously walking toward where we were hiding. Perhaps the pack intended to rest here. As predators, they naturally had to clear out potential ambush spots. I signaled the 3 little ones to try not to make a sound. I glanced at the surrounding environment, and came up with a contingency plan. If discovered by the wolf pack, I would let them find a tree to climb up, with no more worries. Even facing a dozen adult gray wolves, I felt no fear at all. A few gray wolves walked forward a few steps, and stopped, as if they smelled a scent that terrified them. Their limbs began to tremble uncontrollably. Seeing this, I knew I couldn't hide any longer. Before the gray wolves could howl a warning, I launched the attack first. Since I was discovered as a Siberian tiger, I must take the initiative. The gray wolves let out a series of cries, then quickly huddled together for defense. Relying on their numerical advantage, they frequently emitted warning sounds, attempting to scare me away. I let out a loud and deep tiger roar, except for the alpha wolf, who remained calm. The other gray wolves were somewhat panicked. The alpha wolf bared its teeth, with no intention of backing down. Unfortunately, this wolf would never imagine until death that I am a Siberian tiger with a human soul, and I won't play by the rules at all. I charged straight into the pack, launching an attack on the alpha wolf. My paw swiped the alpha wolf away, and then I stopped in my tracks. After all, I didn't want to be besieged by a pack of wolves. Seeing this, the wolf pack dared not stay any longer, and fled in all directions with their tails between their legs. The three little ones waiting in the trees also slid down from the trunks. In their eyes, I was braver than an adult tiger. Their eyes filled with admiration. I gave a low growl, gazing in the direction where the wolf pack disappeared. For some reason, a sense of crisis rose in my heart again. Since migrating to this region, the predators and prey around here have been unusually numerous, so I plan to take the initiative. Following my parents' example, I'll patrol this small area, and then drive away those small and medium predators competing with me for food. I returned to the cave and rested, restoring my energy. Looking at this territory that doesn't belong to me yet, a surge of ambition rose in my heart. From now on, I will lay the groundwork for my future path as king. I called out to the three little ones to follow, and officially began the patrol. Although my deterrence isn't as strong as an adult tiger's, today I intend to drive those hunters away, to demonstrate my tiger's majesty. Doing this might annoy my parents, but I don't really care anymore. Anyway, after this winter, there will be no place for me in this territory. Patrolling the territory again today, I had an experience like never before. Perhaps my roar was too loud, and eventually alerted my parents, who were spending their honeymoon on Father Tiger's territory. Father Tiger seemed to understand what I was doing, and let out a roar to vent his dissatisfaction. I didn't take Father Tiger's warning to heart. After all, I am his son. As long as I don't cross the line, he won't do anything to me. Besides, Father Tiger is a man on his honeymoon right now, and has no time for this. To him, reproduction is the most important thing. Even when Father Tiger gave the warning, I had an urge to roar back. Now, I somewhat understand why Siberian tigers drive away nearly adult cubs. A total rebellious son. Although my size is close to that of an adult tiger, some animals are still not afraid. On a small hill not far away, two leopards were crouching together, watching my patrol from a distance. Looking closely, I soon recognized these two leopards as enemies. Previously, when Father Tiger led me and my brother on patrol, he killed a leopard. They are the siblings of that leopard. Perhaps after being tempered by the forest, the brothers' presence had become much more restrained, or perhaps due to Father Tiger's deterrence. They didn't rush down to attack me, but I still underestimated their hatred for my family. As it grew dark, as I led the three little brothers back to the cave, those two leopards in the jungle slowly stepped out and blocked my path. I wonder where these two survivors got the courage to dare provoke my tiger's majesty. This is a perfect chance to make an example of them. Obviously, the two leopards also recognized me. After all, Father Tiger killed their brother. It's only natural for them to seek revenge on a cub like me. I shielded my brothers behind me, and let out a roar at the two leopards in the distance, like a king awaiting a challenge from his enemies. Although I am much larger than an average tiger cub, the leopard brothers still didn't take me seriously. They stood in a flanking position, surrounding me. The battle was about to erupt. Many predators in the surrounding forest were watching. In this fight, I must defeat the leopard brothers with lightning force, to prove the first step of my path to kingship. Facing the leopard brothers' encirclement, I launched the attack first. After months of survival, the leopard brothers coordinated even more tacitly. When I attacked one of them, the other rushed forward. When I had to turn around to defend, the other attacked the other side in the same way. But I wasn't afraid of the thickness of my fat. Even if I were bitten, it couldn't rip me open. But as long as I seized the opportunity, and bit any one of them, it would be fatal for them. So I focused entirely on the leopard in front. However, my current speed was no match for the leopard. Whenever I almost managed to bite its neck, it always managed to dodge. But I soon found a way to deal with it, pretending to chase the leopard in front relentlessly, while feinting. The moment the leopard behind rushed up to attack, I turned and bit down. The leopard's spine was hard but brittle, but with a terrifying bite force comparable to an adult tigress. I snapped it instantly. The other leopard was terrified by its companion's plight. Once it reacted, it fled in panic. Fleeing, in its understanding, a tiger of the same age shouldn't be this fierce. For the safety of the three little ones behind me, I didn't continue the chase. I believe today's battle will let those watching predators recognize my strength. Now, except for true adult tigers, no predator dares to fight me head-on. Having solved this small problem, I took my three tiger brothers to continue the patrol. Just then, I caught a familiar scent in the air. Looking toward the distant hillside, Tiger Dad's figure appeared again. This time he didn't make any sound toward me, only with deep and majestic eyes watching me from afar, as if conveying something. Perhaps it was a form of recognition. Then, at the edge of the forest. Just as I was about to enter Tiger Mom's territory, in the nearby forest, the roar of another male tiger sounded again. It was the voice of a completely strange male tiger. A few minutes later, from another direction in the forest, another male tiger's roar echoed. A second strange adult male tiger. I felt a bit more nervous and uneasy. And right now, a familiar and deeper roar also sounded in the distance. As if in response, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. I finally relaxed. With Tiger Ba, a male tiger in his prime, presiding, other foreign male tigers would not dare to rashly invade the territory, even if some say Tiger Ba didn't win every fight. But that's impossible. In terms of size and strength, Tiger Ba stands firmly at the top of this current batch of adult male tigers. After hesitating for a moment, I decided to continue along the edge of the territory, to respect Tiger Mom's rights as the owner. On the other hand, I also wanted to see the newly arrived adult male tiger. This should be a newly adult wanderer, searching everywhere for a territory to claim, or coming to the edge of an occupied territory, to let out a roar and provoke. If the opponent doesn't respond, or shows signs of old age and weakness, then he will take advantage of the weakness. If I could see that strange male tiger with my own eyes, and judge his strength, I could plan for the future. The further I walked, the stronger the feeling of unease became. Many times, a tiger's sixth sense is exceptionally accurate, so I let Tiger Brother lead Tiger 1 and Tiger 2 in another direction, while I headed toward the direction of the roar. Sure enough, after walking less than 2 kilometers, through the gaps between the trees, I saw that agile adult tiger. In my heart, a strong desire for battle surged. Perhaps sensing something, this tiger looked toward me alertly, even passing by the place where I was hiding, although the opponent had only recently become an adult. But in terms of weight, strength, and bite force, he was several degrees stronger than I am now. Rushing up to fight in a heat of passion right now would clearly be an unwise choice. Suppressing the desire for battle in my heart, I watched him pass before my eyes. If you just give me another 6 months, I will be invincible in this forest. Now, I was completely unaware that unconsciously, my desire for battle was growing stronger. I no longer felt like a human. Tiger Mom has been anxious to have another litter with Tiger Dad recently. Therefore, I've been the one hunting in her territory lately, enough to provide for me and my 3 tiger brothers. This day, just as I was taking the 3 little ones to teach them hunting skills, an unusual situation occurred. In the area where the territories of 3 Siberian tigers overlap, roars like waves swept toward the forest. Those roars were laced with anger. Relying on my keen hearing, I heard other subtle sounds. I'm certain 2 male tigers are fighting. I perked up and rushed over. I was too excited. Fighting for territory. I've never seen such a scene. Today is a good chance to join in and broaden my horizons. After running over 10 kilometers, standing on high ground, I could clearly see the fight. Nearby animals, terrified by the horrific tiger roars, fled in all directions. One was the young adult Siberian tiger I saw before, and the other wasn't Huba. It was exactly the adult tiger who lived in peace with Huba, ruling the adjacent area. Perhaps the wanderer had encountered Huba before. In comparison, he chose to challenge this local tiger who seemed weaker than Huba. The 2 male tigers stood on their hind legs like humans, clawing at each other's upper bodies. Soon, both were covered in blood. Later, claws alone were not enough to show royal dominance. The 2 male tigers began to bite and tear. Tiger fights are defined by ruthlessness. Among Siberian tigers, they are usually the most brutal and fierce. Male tigers rarely admit defeat or surrender. As night gradually fell, after the initial mutual injuries, they were now enduring an ordeal. Whoever lost patience and showed a weakness first would face a fatal blow. Meanwhile, they knew the surrounding forest was full of onlookers. Witnessing the other's crushing defeat would better demonstrate their own authority. Although both were injured, no predator dared to despise them. Instead, they showed looks of awe. After enduring for about half an hour, the territory tiger was the first to succumb to exhaustion, coupled with the injury to his front leg, causing his body to sway slightly. Although he corrected it immediately, the opponent still seized this tiny opportunity. As the wanderer pounced, the one who had only recently become the territory tiger was pinned down by the wanderer. There was no suspense. Even as fellow Siberian tigers, one cannot withstand the bite of another adult tiger. A winner was born. The newly stabilized territory fell once again to this young male tiger. The defeated Siberian tiger before me vividly illustrated the fate of the loser. That's why I've been keeping a low profile, accumulating strength, until I am strong enough. Then I will embark on my own path to kingship, challenging various territory tigers, and then becoming the king of kings. I want to be stronger than Huba, ruling over vaster forests, becoming the king of Siberian tigers like humans do, defeating every single one of them, then granting them territories to obey my commands. As the three little ones grew, their appetites increased significantly. The pressure on me to hunt grew gradually. I must secure my own territory as soon as possible, to meet the needs of the four of us. After leaving Tiger Mom's territory, I was exceptionally cautious, because in this area, besides Huba, there were two other strange male tigers. Once I encountered them, it would surely end badly. Yet, as luck would have it, just as I found a temporary resting place, from the forest behind me came the footsteps of an adult male tiger. I wondered if this adult male tiger was the one whose eyes were blinded by Huba. I always felt that blind tiger had other intentions. I jumped to a high spot and looked toward the source of the sound. Sure enough, it was the blind tiger. But his behavior was strange. He was carrying an unrotted bear tiger head in his mouth, and the direction he was heading was exactly the border between Huba and the new territory tiger's lands. I became unsettled, even a bit worried, fearing that my previous speculations were gradually becoming reality. Once this bear tiger head appeared in Huba's territory, the consequences would be unimaginable. Now, I had a terrifying thought. Could it be that the blind tiger did this on purpose, just to provoke a conflict between Huba and that young male tiger? Even if the young tiger next door couldn't beat Huba, he could still use his youthful strength to inflict some injuries on Huba, and then the blind tiger could launch a sneak attack. This deduction gave me a chilling feeling. I watched Animal World a lot in my previous life. I couldn't believe a Siberian tiger could plot such a devouring tiger scheme. To verify my suspicion, I secretly followed the blind tiger from a distance, watching him enter Huba's territory, and then, after about 10 minutes, he stepped out. The head of that male tiger was gone. Now it's very likely, in some forest within Huba's territory. It's conceivable that, once the patrolling Huba discovers it, then between the two neighboring territory tigers, a conflict will inevitably break out. But I can't tell Huba directly that the one-eyed tiger did this. I can't just watch him plot against Huba. However, just as I was about to enter Huba's territory, an angry tiger roar echoed. Oh no, that voice is clearly Huba's. I pushed myself to my maximum speed, determined to stop Huba from going to the neighboring territory. But when I arrived at the scene, I knew I was too late. Now, Huba was staring at that male tiger's head with a menacing look. In Huba's eyes, that young brat who just took over the opposite territory had no manners at all, even stepping into his territory to deliver this show of defiance. This was an invasion of the Tiger King's dignity, which could not be tolerated. From those few angry roars, one could tell how furious Huba was. If I were to rush forward now, it's very likely that I would become Huba's first target to vent his rage. After all, the father-son relationship between us is no longer as intimate as it once was. Now I should try my best to avoid a direct confrontation between Huba and that young male tiger. But more than that, what surprised me even more was the cunning and calculating nature of that one-eyed tiger. This is beyond the capabilities of a Siberian tiger. Could it be that he, like me, possesses a human soul? Right now, Huba is like a powder keg. The fuse is the one-eyed tiger, and the flame is the young male tiger in the neighboring territory. With a hostile gaze, he walked toward the edge of the territory nearby. He was completely consumed by rage. Now, that young male tiger was patrolling all over his own forest. Everywhere he went, he sprayed urine on the trees, using it to mark and display his scent, to deter intruders. But in the next moment, a terrifying tiger roar echoed within his territory. This new lord instantly cast aside his excitement. A male tiger had come knocking at his door, and had blatantly roared a challenge to him. For him, who had just defeated a male tiger, how could he possibly endure this? Watching Huba continuously approach the other's territory, I was extremely anxious. I couldn't wait any longer. As Huba stepped into the young male tiger's territory, I didn't care about anything else. In the nearby forest, I let out a roar mimicking the tone of Tiger Mom. It seemed Huba heard it from a distance, and let out a sound in response. Seeing Huba stop in his tracks, I breathed a sigh of relief. In critical moments, a tigress's roar is still the most effective. And when the confused Huba saw it was me, his relaxed mood became irritable again, but unexpectedly, as I rushed to Huba's side. Just as I was about to speak about what I had seen, I was stunned by a sudden slap from Huba. Following that, an undisguised warning roar came my way. Huba was furious. He probably blamed me for faking Tiger Mom's call. I stepped forward and also let out a roar, signaling to Huba that there was danger ahead. But just as I finished my first sentence, the young tiger appeared from the depths of the opposite forest. The atmosphere instantly became frozen with tension. Although there was some estrangement between Huba and me, this was a family matter. As the young male tiger approached, Huba still shielded me behind him without hesitation. The two male tigers stared at each other like this. The dangerous light in their blue tiger eyes grew more intense. I scanned the surrounding forest. My intuition told me that the one-eyed tiger, the mastermind of this plot, was watching from some hidden spot. A few seconds later, two shadows simultaneously accelerated toward each other. Huba truly lived up to his reputation as a seasoned veteran. The moment the young male tiger lunged to bite him, his massive paw, at the perfect distance, struck out. The young male tiger took a solid blow. Meanwhile, a flicker of fear and unease flashed in his eyes. He shook his dizzy head, adjusted his posture, and once again charged at Huba with high spirits. As a result, just like the first time, he was slapped again by Huba's superior experience. Huba's contempt for the young male tiger made him feel intense humiliation. Two attacks. Both were swatted away by the other's indifferent paw. Moreover, his face stung with pain. This was more than the young male tiger could bear. Dangerous and angry roars continuously erupted from his mouth. His body paced back and forth not far ahead, seemingly searching for the best attack position and timing. Just then, I saw the silhouette of the blind tiger, on a cliff 2 kilometers away. He was quietly watching everything happening here. Watching Tiger Dad and the young male tiger face off. I wanted to stop it, but I feared it would make the situation worse. Tiger Dad had no intention of going easy. He began looking for an opportunity to strike. His combat experience was extensive, far beyond what a novice like the young male tiger could match. Tiger Dad moved. Seizing the moment, he pounced toward the young tiger. His leaping silhouette was like a dark cloud, instantly overshadowing the young tiger, until he was pinned down and bitten firmly by Tiger Dad. Only then did the young tiger realize Tiger Dad's true terror. The fear in his eyes almost became tangible at that moment. He regretted his actions. If he could escape with his life today, he probably would never again step foot into Tiger Dad's territory. After a moment of stalemate, Tiger Dad's teeth released the young tiger's body. Then, in front of the other's ear, he let out a deafening roar. This was the most powerful intimidation. Tiger Dad also didn't deal a fatal blow to the loser, seemingly a recognized tacit agreement among males fighting. The blind tiger had vanished long ago, and I didn't notice either. Just after Tiger Dad and I had left, the blind tiger appeared again silently. He stuck out his tongue, licked the tiger blood remaining on the ground. He looked around, finding that the blood scattered on the ground all belonged to that young tiger. A ripple of emotion appeared in his calm tiger eyes. It was a look of disdain. He sniffed some of Tiger Dad's fur fallen on the forest floor. In his only remaining eye, the light became increasingly cold. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed. During this time, that young tiger would occasionally come to the edge of the territory, hurriedly mark the territory with urine, and then run away. But one day, while hunting with Tiger Brother, I felt something abnormal in the mountains and forests. For this reason, I specifically sniffed the young tiger's previous urine marks. Something was wrong. Previously, even though he feared the majesty of Tiger Dad and Mom, this young male tiger would still sneakily come to the edge of his territory to spray. Now the scent was noticeably much fainter. This defied common logic. If a male tiger no longer marks the territory with his urine, then there is only one possibility. This thought surfaced in my mind, giving me a start, especially when recalling the blind tiger's strange behavior. It intensified the unease within me. After this discovery, I tentatively went deeper into this area. Within a kilometer, I sniffed 3 spots. The territory marks that should have been there had all disappeared. Something unknown must have happened in between. So I decided to go to the center of the young tiger's territory to investigate. But I didn't expect that the scene I saw would completely shatter my understanding. As I gradually approached the area of the young tiger's cave, many animal carcasses appeared along the way. Originally, it wouldn't be strange to find animal carcasses in a Siberian tiger's territory, but the number of these corpses was indeed so many that even I, a tiger, couldn't help but shudder. This was simply a massacre, an indiscriminate slaughter of all animals. I quickly climbed onto a high rock, looking out. Within a radius of 1 or 2 kilometers, there were over 100 animal corpses. Examining the condition of each animal carcass carefully, I found that most of these animals had their throats bitten, a fatal blow, including medium to large animals like wild boars. The cervical vertebrae in their necks were also shattered. What was quite eerie was, these animal corpses were as if they had been hollowed out, leaving only fur and bones. From the current weather, and the degree of decay of the animal corpses, these animals were all killed within the last 2 weeks. But what I found most terrifying was, that such a major event had occurred. Not only did I, at the edge of the territory, not notice anything wrong, but even my experienced parents had not sensed the abnormality. On the way of investigation, I felt an immense pressure. The surrounding forest was like a behemoth watching over this area. The surrounding atmosphere was too quiet. Even the birds in the forest did not choose to land here. Braving the strong pressure, I gradually approached the location of the tiger cave. Within 200 or 300 meters of the cave, I smelled an unusual scent in the air again. There was the familiar scent of the young tiger, and a strange scent of the same species, and an extremely intense scent of blood. I walked into the darkness ahead. A faint light came through. I saw clearly the situation inside the tiger's den. It was a seductive flower emitting a fishy smell, a flower that also emitted an incredibly bloody scent. At the very top of the flower, a tiny red fruit was emitting an irresistibly alluring fragrance. But what truly terrified me was where this plant had taken root. Countless roots were embedded in the flesh and bones of a young tiger. Nerves were constantly writhing, extracting nutrients to supply the top. Everything I saw was too eerie. It even exceeded the limits of my understanding. In a daze, I smelled an alluring scent. My front paw instinctively took a step forward. Then, everything before my eyes changed. Skyscrapers, neon lights and nightlife, scenes I had almost forgotten since being reborn as a tiger, appeared once again. Frightened, I looked down at my body. My originally thick tiger paws had turned into 5 human fingers. In the distance, a sense of warmth and familiarity arrived. I wanted to step forward to greet them and ask if we knew each other. But a sudden flash of unease made me stop my impending step. Then, I felt a piercing pain. When I opened my eyes again, the scene before me hadn't changed much. My body was still a Siberian tiger. Even my paws hadn't changed at all. And that seductive plant was trying hard to root itself into my body. By now, it had already broken through the fur of my paw, reaching the blood inside. Looking up again, in the corner at the front of the den, the young tiger that could previously let out faint moans of pain, had now become a corpse. Its miserable state was like the animals outside the cave. Coming to my senses, I instinctively used my paw to tear at the plant's roots. I couldn't tear it off even with force. Then, I bit down hard on its roots. The sharp teeth in my mouth began to exert force. Enduring the disgust, I clamped my jaws, chewing the plant held in my mouth. Suddenly, a warm sensation surged through my body. With no time to think, I only wanted to escape quickly from this eerie and terrifying place. Because a root had pierced into my paw, I couldn't shake it off even if I wanted to. In the end, I simply gave a powerful shake, dragging the entire plant as I ran out of the den. Enduring the discomfort in my heart, I didn't stop until I entered Tiger Mom's territory. Recalling the feeling of swallowing a bit of that seductive plant, I took another bite. Then, a rich fragrance instantly filled my entire mouth. The stems of the eerie plant became hard as stone, and right at that moment, that mysterious power within me surged, instantly shattering the rigid plant. As the nectar flowing from the plant's body slid down into my belly, the mysterious energy in my body instantly became restless, 10 times more active than usual, constantly flowing throughout my entire body. I could clearly feel the changes happening to my body. The liquid inside this thing could significantly increase the mysterious energy in my body. This feeling of exploding strength made me addicted. And at this time, the blind tiger quietly arrived at the den from before. But he soon noticed something was wrong. The red plant he was obsessed with was gone. He searched around the tiger's den, and slowly discovered some clues. The scent of his own kind. Then the blind tiger slowly pursued the scent. Clearly, the blind tiger's recent disappearance was closely related to this plant. At this time, I had completely swallowed the plant into my belly. This enhanced body not only expanded the range of my nose and ears, but my speed and strength also increased significantly. It had completely reached a level comparable to an ordinary adult male tiger. Even I didn't notice that while running, many unusual changes were occurring in my body. It seemed to be evolution, a special, strange sensation spread through my body. Slowly, I noticed my state was becoming more and more abnormal. Not daring to linger too long in the mountains, I sprinted at extreme speed toward my home cave. But a dizziness similar to drunkenness grew stronger. In just a few kilometers, I crashed through dozens of trees. And the blind tiger pursuing from behind saw this scene. Yet he wasn't surprised at all. It seemed he had experienced such changes before. After chasing for another 7 or 8 li, the blind tiger's expression became complex. Now, he confirmed my identity. Standing in the woods, he pondered for a moment, and decided to give up the idea of continuing the pursuit, even though that plant was something he had brought out at the risk of his life, and had greatly enhanced his own strength. But for now, he's still not sure he can beat me. After coming to their senses, the 2 little ones even thought the crawling plant looked somewhat beautiful. They took a few steps forward, closing the distance, and began to observe. Hudi was also just initially startled by this thing. Then he also developed a strong interest in it. And just then, a strong and powerful limb slammed forward. The plant's roots were only a few centimeters away from touching the little tiger. At the critical moment, my paw slammed down and saved his life. I felt my head was still a bit dizzy. Just as I opened my eyes, I saw the scene before me in a blur. Then without hesitation, I raised my paw and slammed it down. But the huge impact also stunned me for a moment. I had clearly only raised my paw, and gave a light push downward. Yet my claws sank over 10 centimeters into the soil. I was surprised by my own tiger strength, and equally surprised by the nectar-like liquid exuded by this plant. It seems, this liquid has great benefits for enhancing strength. From the moment I saw this plant, I realized this is not a simple world. Perhaps in the future, even more incredible things will happen. To become even stronger, I must seize every single opportunity now, and this plant might be my opportunity. Glancing at the plant completely flattened into the soil, I hooked it up from the ground with my claw, then told the 3 little ones to stay away. I went to the place where animal bones were previously discarded. I found a wild boar leg bone, and placed the plant on it. Nothing changed. The plant still looked as if it had withered, playing dead. I could sense that this thing still had vitality. Its current state was all an act. Without a word, I stepped closer, and gently ground my newly refreshed tiger teeth. A blatant threat. With my current size, coupled with the significantly increased strength, if I really chewed this plant like before, I'm afraid my jaws would tear it apart. And then swallowed. After a light scraping sound, the plant softened at once, and under my threat, all of its roots quickly took hold on top of the wild boar leg bone. I carefully observed its state. Its roots could easily penetrate the hard bone, then delve deep inside to absorb the nutrients it needed. Recalling the previous scene, I also became vigilant. I don't know if this thing, besides this, has any other tricks. If it appeared in these mountains and forests, it would be a disaster for all animals. The 3 little ones didn't understand why their brother was just lying on the ground, making strange noises, with strange things crawling out of its mouth, and then woke up, performing such strange actions. They trotted over, surrounding their brother, and watched this strange scene. I pushed aside the 3 curious little ones, and then watched the plant's changes. The red fruit that was originally on top had almost disappeared by now. The thumb-thick stem of its whole body had also shrunken significantly, and the sickly-looking roots, after penetrating the wild boar leg bone, specks of fluorescence continuously gathered from the roots, then gathered upwards layer by layer, finally all flowing into the fruit on top. I think this plant evolves by absorbing the life matter of other organisms, and condensing it into the fruit on top, achieving its own evolution. This scene left me somewhat bewildered. Could it be that this forest is about to undergo earth-shaking changes again? My eyes after mutation were no longer simply yellow, but glowed with a hint of crimson, now staring intently at the plant. Dangerous and terrifying, opportunity and risk truly coexist. I sighed, then gave a warning, telling the 3 little ones to stay away from this plant, while I ran off toward the distant forest. In just over 10 minutes, I returned carrying a wild rabbit I had bitten to death. Glancing at the plant in the distance, it surprisingly hadn't flown away, and was still rooted in the now nutrient-depleted wild boar leg bone. Now it was gently swaying its frail body in the mountain breeze, looking just like a little spirit. I stepped forward and dropped the dead rabbit beside it. Before I could take another step, it very consciously moved its roots over. In just 7 or 8 minutes, a wild rabbit weighing weighing 7 or 8 pounds. His life substance was completely sucked dry. This kind of life seemed to be no different from before. There was food wherever I went. The plant's consciousness surged. Then its body swayed slightly, bowing before me in a flattering manner. Then it extended a root across my path. The next moment, from the plant's root, a needle-sized drop of blue-green liquid emerged, hanging in midair. I understood. This drop of blue-green liquid was perhaps all the life substance of that wild rabbit from before, but this time, I didn't stick out my tongue to lick it. I glanced at the three little guys behind me, and called over Tiger Brother. Following his brother's order, Tiger Brother stuck out his tongue. The blue-green liquid on the root dripped down. A rich, fragrant scent instantly filled Tiger Brother's mouth. Then it instantly vanished into his body, merging into his blood, and began to flow to other parts of his body. However, after walking a few steps, Tiger Brother's body began to sway. Before he could reach me, he fell to the ground with a thud. I anxiously stepped forward to check on him. His breathing was still steady. He had just temporarily lost consciousness. I felt relieved. I waited by his side. After the plant secreted this drop of blue-green liquid, its body withered slightly. It seemed that for it, this was also quite a burden. This time I saw clearly. That one drop certainly wasn't its limit. The reason it appeared so weak was partly an act for my benefit. I couldn't help but marvel. This thing hardly seemed like a plant, but more like a plant that had gained spirit. It even understood the ways of the world, knowing how to feign weakness and disguise itself, playing the part of a fair-weather friend perfectly. If Blind Tiger had seen this scene, he would perhaps be even more indignant. Why was it that he provided so many nutrients, only to receive a few drops of life substance from this thing, and he had to beg for its charity? I know what the appearance of this plant means, and what impact it will have on this forest, but I also understand that this might be the sign of a new world opening. I must prepare in advance. The sudden change disrupted my original plan, keeping a close eye on Tiger Brother. After confirming there were no other life-threatening issues, I relaxed. After waiting for 2 hours, Tiger Brother finally opened his eyes dizzily. He was a bit maladjusted to the process. Before I had time to observe him closely, I prepared to continue hunting. After instructing the three little guys to stay away from this plant, I headed further into the forest. Although my body underwent some changes, and the process was very painful, the gains were quite significant. At least now, I can feel the immense power hidden within my body. Winter has arrived. I not only need to provide food for the three little guys, but also find a way to provide some nutrients for this plant, so it can produce more of that sweet liquid. At least, it must be enough for the three little guys to evolve. While waiting for little Tiger to wake up, I also discovered that the blue-green sweet liquid has a huge promoting effect on the physical strengthening of organisms. If taken in large quantities or over a long period, it could even break genetic limits and evolve into another higher level of life. My heart grew more eager. My speed running through the forest became faster. I could even leap forward a distance of 6 or 7 meters. After testing it in the forest, I looked at the hole created by one paw, a crater the size of a basketball, and found my current strength hard to estimate. Moreover, the gains this time were not limited to just increases in strength and speed, but also my sensory abilities like vision and hearing, which had also significantly improved. The all-around improvement of my physical fitness made me overjoyed. Relying on my current strength, even if I encounter other adult Siberian tigers, I now have the strength to contend with or even defeat them. While thinking this, meanwhile I prepared to provide enough nutrients for that plant, so the blue-green life substance it produces could be consumed by the three little guys in turn, allowing them to grow up fast. If there is any surplus later on, I'll consider allocating some to Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom. Although the current gains are surprising, but then I thought of another side. Since this kind of plant has appeared, will there be other things I don't know about? Unknown powerful creatures existing? I began to feel worried. I even began to plan and think how to deal with such a situation. I feel that relying only on us, a few little tigers, isn't enough. I must get my tiger father and mother over as soon as possible. Only then can we, before the great upheaval arrives, have enough strength to face unknown dangers. While I was pondering, through my nose, I smelled a thick scent mixed with blood. A bear is approaching. I judged it in my mind. Furthermore, about 10+ kilometers ahead to my left. I no longer hesitated. I wanted to test my current strength. I could beat a black bear, or even kill it. With this thought, the power in my body erupted instantly, racing through the forest to reach the black bear fast. The distance was manageable. I rushed forward, holding back my power. I arrived in 10+ minutes. The black bear was using its claws to dig out, eating the carcass of a wild boar. It was still steaming. It looked up and saw me arriving. It froze for a moment. Then, a furious and dangerous roar echoed through the forest. The black bear's body became somewhat frenzied. It started running, its body shaking with every step. I was not afraid of this black bear, whose body was slightly larger than mine. As the opponent ran towards me, I also let out a tiger's roar and met it head-on. The dark bear paw exerted force, slapping towards my face. I stared intently, clearly seeing the image of the paw striking. Then predicting its trajectory, I lowered my head slightly, then gathered power in my left paw, and slashed toward the black bear's plump belly. A sound like tearing cloth rang out. By the time my rushing body came to a stop, and I turned back to look, the black bear's abdomen had been slashed open with a deep wound by my claws. White fat was exposed, mixed with a bit of blood, through a layer of peritoneum. The organs in the bear's belly were clearly visible. The black bear let out a painful wail, and the intensity in its eyes instantly turned to fear, although it hadn't completely lost the ability to resist. But the claws of the tiger before it were too sharp, breaking through its defense in one go. The black bear was terrified. It felt it would die if it stayed any longer. Enduring the intense pain, it placed all four paws on the ground, and began fleeing toward a distant cave. I naturally wouldn't give it a chance. Exerting force with my limbs, once my speed increased, I easily caught up with the fleeing black bear. Without any fancy moves, I leaped up, pounced onto the black bear, and then exerted force to pin it down. The black bear struggled and flipped over, attempting to attack my throat with its claws. A claw slashed across. Not even a single hair of my fur was removed, only a few white marks on the skin, which quickly disappeared. I didn't expect my skin's defense to be so strong. I had been worried before, but now I could truly be at ease. I did not hesitate. Finding the right moment, I bit down on the black bear's throat. The bear's thick neck prevented me from biting through instantly, but after biting a part of it, I exerted force up and down, still biting through half of the bear's neck in one go, killing it on the spot. I licked the blood around my tiger mouth, looking at the twitching bear body before me, feeling a bit reflective. With my current strength, killing a black bear is no longer a problem. It was even quite effortless. This was all thanks to the benefits of that plant. Sheen who realized, biting the black bear's paw, and began dragging it away. I looked back at the wild boar killed by the black bear. I didn't let it go either, just in time to take this food back, some as food for the three little ones, some as nutrients for the plant, to refine the greenish life substance. An easy battle, showed and tested my now skyrocketing strength. If I wanted to, I now have the strength to challenge an adult male tiger, and covet their territory. I also plan to wander around the vicinity. If in the territory previously ruled by the wanderer, there is no longer any trace of the blind tiger, I will consider whether to bring this territory under my rule.